So if you've been feeling angry, resentful, frustrated, bitter lately, you may want to look and see if it's self-betrayal. And if so, you're not alone, and I want to talk about it in this video. 3 different ways it can look and some remedies on how to move through it and really come out the other side empowered. Greetings everyone, it's Jordan Parker, Middle Way Coaching. One of the most common forms of self-betrayal is betraying yourself for connection. This can look a variety of ways, but often it's people-pleasing, overgiving, ignoring your needs or your truth, compromising, or just festering with resentment towards someone. We say yes even when we want to say no. We give more of ourselves than we have to give. We tolerate behavior that does not sit right with us. We ignore our needs, our limits, or our intuition in order to stay in connection. So in the moment, it can feel generous and like the right thing to do. But often what's underneath is we're choosing a connection regardless of its cost. And the cost that we pay is resentment. Resentment towards the person, resentment towards the situation, and ultimately resentment towards ourselves. Because deep down, we've abandoned our truth. We've abandoned our connection with ourselves. And often we didn't feel the self-esteem to really stand in our truth. Connections matter. And relationships matter. But if that connection requires us to constantly betray ourselves, then it's not actually in support of real connection. The second form of self-betrayal here is breaking our word with ourselves. This one is easy to overlook because no one else sees it. When you can't trust your own word to yourself, very few important things in your life will work or sustain for that long. Eventually things will start breaking down, metaphorically or literally. You tell yourself you're gonna have that difficult conversation, or that you're gonna quit that habit, or that you're gonna change your job, and then you don't do these things. And to be clear, this is not about perfection. What this is about is our relationship with ourselves. When you're your word with yourself, self-esteem increases because of self-respect, and other people feel it. So the third form of self-betrayal, and possibly the one that gets least talked about, is abandoning your dreams. This one is often painful to look at, but it's also essential for your sanity, humility, empowerment, and empathy. And I'm not talking about your quarterly or annual goals. I'm talking about your life visions, your passions, your dreams, the things that you would lose track of time imagining or daydreaming about when you were younger or even still now. These are things that call to you, and they call to you because they matter. Often these dreams are connected to the very things that we deeply want to experience or that we're here to do. Typically later in life, there's a reconciliation between reality and our dreams, but it doesn't mean that we still can't go through with our dreams. Sometimes we may need to adjust them, but the essence of what they're pointing to and what we feel when we think about them is still always there. For some people, this could be creative work. For others, it's travel, business, creating a family, service work out in the world or in nature, or your relationship with God or some form of spirituality. The details are different for everyone, but what's not different is that it's something that brings our heart alive when we think about it. And if for you, when you think about it, there's pain, then there's some self-betrayal to acknowledge. And that's okay. Those that have betrayed themselves and come out the other side better people can help others. Not only others that have done it, but also prevent others from doing it. In fact, I think that some of the most impressive dream chasers are the people that do it later in life, despite the odds, or despite the limitations, or despite the heartbreak of having to adjust their visions and dreams to their current reality, which is very adult to do, but still chase them, still chase the dreams, even if they never get there. There's something admirable about that form of exuberance for life, because as the cliche always says, it's not about actually the goal itself. It's, of course, about the journey. And that's what we experience every time we take a step towards our vision or dream. We experience empowerment, connection, devotion, resilience, surrender, and often joy. So what do we do when we recognize self-betrayal? The first step is to move towards compassion. There's a reason why we betray ourselves, and that reason probably felt more important in the moment, or in the moments, or in the pattern of us doing it than our connection with ourselves. So we start with compassion so we can forgive ourselves. Forgiveness is a muscle that needs to be worked. It can't be forced, but it can be learned and it can be received. It can happen spontaneously. The intention to do so is what matters the most. Many people spend years beating themselves up over self-betrayal, and at the end of the day, that actually doesn't empower you or set you free any more than compassion or forgiveness does. At some point, we have to forgive ourselves for being human, and then return to the boundary, to the commitment, to the relationship, and to the truth, and not to the ideal version of yourself, but to return to the actual life that you have. Transforming self-betrayal is not about becoming someone else. It's about returning to yourself over and over and accepting yourself. And at that point, self-betrayal is so much harder and more painful because you've experienced and you know what it's like to have your own back for so long at that point. And this relationship, the one with ourselves, is most important, and it's always a work in progress. Thanks so much for watching, and until next time.